What is up, everybody? This is Goodman, and I am signing back on for another video. Now, it has been a minute, and I'm sorry that it's taken so long for me to do these videos. I had just had a third baby. Well, I didn't have it. My wife did, but you know what I mean. So I've been going through that. We have tons of projects that are going on right now that I haven't filmed any of, which is great. So that stinks. But I'm going to try to start filming again this week because I have a series I'm trying to do on a brand new house that I just bought that's a Section 8 rental. Just taking you guys through the process of like every single thing we're doing, which is a lot, but going through that and then showing you guys like from the beginning to the end, including doing all the paperwork, getting the inspection done, having the tenant come in, you know, all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna record it all just so you guys can see it. So it's kind of like a little series here that we're gonna do later on. So I'll hopefully start getting some of those videos loaded up. And I think Colby and I are probably going to take a lot of the videos that I have ready to go for this and maybe put them on the back burner for a bit, or just get rid of them altogether, which we've done with a lot of content before. Unless Colby wants to just start like churning through this stuff, that's perfectly fine with me too. So we'll see what he wants to do and we'll go from there. But in this video that we're talking about right now is we have Tam's house, and Tam had a problem with her neighbors parking in her yard. That was happening constantly. She kept calling me and I kept being like, look, it's not that big a deal, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But she's sending me pictures of like box trucks parking in her yard, neighbors, not just parking in her yard, but like coming all the way, like almost to like the front door parking in her yard. There was one time where I had one of the neighbors in her yard, and I just went over and I said, hey, could you possibly move this car? Like, I'm just trying to move. I was trying to get into the house or move my truck to the house. And the dude comes over like I have just, how dare I ask him to move his car out of my front yard of my home. Like, that's how stupid this was. That's how ridiculous, ignorant, nasty, entitled, privileged all these people are out in the hood in this video. So you don't see any of that, but that had happened to me. It was absolutely ridiculous. I still cannot believe that this dude has the mentality to think he can park in someone's front yard and then be mad when I, the owner of the house, am asking him to move his car because I need to bring my truck in. And he's sitting there acting all nasty and whatever. I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to be mean to you. I literally nicely asked for you to move. Yeah, whatever, man. And I'm like, all right, cool. So we got tired of all this. And after that, we decided that we were gonna take matters into our own hands. So what Tam and I came up with, well, actually what I came up with was we're gonna put some posts up in her front yard along the road so that people cannot park in her yard anymore. And if they do, they're gonna have to like drive in between two of them to actually park their car inside of her yard. And people were parking like all over the place, like blocking her and stuff like that, which isn't cool. So Mahmoud and I took it into our own hands, and I will show you guys the video now. So let's get started. So went to Home Depot, got everything that we needed to get this thing done, which was just a bunch of these, ranchers use them. They're like barbed wire fence posts. So you can kind of like wrap line around them and you can make a nice fence and all that stuff. We aren't using it for that though. We decided that we were just going to put them along the way and just put enough in between, like not too much space in between each post. So it was almost impossible for someone to be able to park their car, which was the main objective of this. The issue that we started running into was, number one, I did not bring leather gloves. So our soft hands did not fare well on this day. We used nitrile gloves, as you can see Mahmoud has. And I will tell you this, you will get blisters faster than if we'd just done it with bare hands. And then also after this, I learned something that maybe you all can learn now too, is someone on TikTok or Instagram, I can't remember which one, or YouTube Shorts, because we love YouTube Shorts. So they told me, they said, when you do this, you don't slam it down and hold it when you slam down, you let it go. So see how I'm doing this, but the problem is like, I'm telling Mahmoud that he's not doing this stuff because he's not going like straight down. He's going like at an angle. So he's doing like this number instead of like down perfectly. I'm yelling at him constantly throughout the day to do that. But anyway, as you can see, he's using those gloves, and right there, when you bring it down, you're supposed to let it go. Like you pretty much are, boom, let it go. And so we have learned so many things about knocking posts in that we did not know before we did all this work. Many people were very upset with us. The amount of soft hand comments on YouTube Shorts, on Instagram, on TikTok was absolutely insane. We love that though. Engagement is great. I don't care how soft my hands are, but you know, we need people talking to us. But yes, we do have very, very soft hands. We are all just like the man that parked in my yard. We're all privileged and entitled with our very, very soft hands. So anyway, Mahmoud got this thing done. Like I said, this is him like sitting there in his Greek god pose, like he's at the gym or something. I'm really not sure. Colby took some interesting, a creative, whatever it's called. I can't remember what I'm trying to think of here. But decided to make Mahmoud look great while he's sitting there and, pounding this stuff in very, very fast. As you can see, Tam in the background inspecting our work, even though our work is pretty bad. We did 2 on one side, and I was like, oh wait, we need to put a line in between just to kind of make them where they're going to be straight. But this, I don't know how people do this, really and truly. It's very, very hard to pound this stuff in. And people are doing this where they do miles of this stuff. And I did this on a front yard, and this took us it was maybe 2 hours as Tam's over there telling me to do something else at her house. This was like a 2-hour job, which was crazy because I did not think it would take us this long. But it was sucked. It was not fun at all. We had blisters on our hands, like all over the place. We're still wearing these gloves, and at the end, you're going to see where we kind of improvise the best we can, which is still crazy the way we do this and stupid the way we do it. But nonetheless, Tam's very happy because the people across the street, as you can see in that Suburban or that Tahoe, are the ones that they decided that like where these 2 posts are, that this wasn't our yard, this was anyone's yard. And so I was like, no. It's not. Now, I know that you're going to say, oh, what about the easement, Goodman? What about the easement? Oh, no. Okay, well, if the city wants to come by and tell me to take these posts out, we'll take them out, and we'll move them back. That's great that you have easements and you want to complain about that. But when your neighbors continually park into your yard, I just don't care anymore. So, the city can come by. They can get mad at me if they want to. I'm perfectly fine with that. We'll deal with it then. Until then, I'm going to put my post wherever I want to on the property. And that's what we did here. And it really did help. After we did this, there was no more parking. No more parking on her yard at all. 0, which was exactly what we wanted. We didn't know if we placed things maybe too far away from each other, what was going to happen. We were like, well, we'll add some if we need to later on. But at this point, there's been no parking whatsoever. All the neighbors hate us, which, that's not what you want. But like the house right there across from us in this video, in this clip right here, not the one where the Tahoe is, but the one to the right. That house, actually, I remember I watched about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. I was in my truck fixing something for the former tenant that lived at this house, my house, and the people across the street had killed a guy. Actually, they murdered a man over trying to sell him a lawnmower. He didn't want to buy the lawnmower, and they were just trying to rob him and get his money from him. So he took off down the road. They chased him down. He crashed into a pole, and then they shot him in cold blood down the street. So then the sheriff's deputies, I watched as the sheriff's deputies ran in there and flashbanged the front, flashbanged in the house, carted out like 10 people. I mean, these guys had like guns, all kinds of stuff in their house. It was pretty crazy. It was a great time. And actually, I remember I talked to Colby's dad about this, that Wednesday night when I went to church. It was really funny. He was very interested in this, and I showed him the videos and stuff. It was crazy. It really was. It was a refrigerated box truck that drove up like really slowly, and I'm like, what is going on? And then all of a sudden, all these sheriff's officers jump out and then just attack this thing. Like they got their ARs. Every single one of them kitted out to the nines. It was absolutely crazy. So this street is not a good place to be hated, but also I just don't care at this point. Like I want people to stop just parking in a yard. I don't understand. Like if I'm in my neighborhood, my neighbors are not parking in my yard for fun. They just don't. So I don't understand why we're in these neighborhoods in the hood and we're like, oh, well, we're going to park in your yard or we're going to do whatever. And it just made no sense. So as you can see, neighbors driving by, they're not very happy with us. And like I care, I don't. So now we got our bare hands because I'm like, there's no way these nitrile gloves are actually better, which they're not. They were not better. Like I said, there were so many blisters I was getting on my hands. Like Mahmoud was dying. I mean, his hands were messed up after this. Tam was like, you need to put one more over here because this is where they park. They keep parking right in this spot saying that it's not this neighbor, but the neighbor across the street saying that that's not part of our property. And so what I'm proving right now with the video is that is part of our property. Everything pretty much up to that light post is part of our property. So thank you, Mahmoud, for that nice spit right there. But everything up to that point is our property. So we're going to have to, like I said, we just had to put another post in there and make sure that they understood that this was not their place. to put their car there. Next, we didn't have any gloves, like I said. So I said, hey, let's get some towels, and we'll use the towels to drive this thing in. Did it work? It worked better just because it didn't hurt our hands as much, but we were slipping on the thing, we were sliding on the thing. It was not the best. It was better than I thought it would go, but again, it would have been nice if we had leather gloves, which I was like, I'm not going back to Home Depot. That's literally what I told Mahmoud. I'm not going back to Home Depot to buy leather gloves. We're just going to do it with what we have. And that was stupid. If I just gone and gotten leather gloves, we wouldn't have had to worry about all these blisters, wouldn't have to worry about all this stuff going on, which would have been extremely nice. And as you see, Mahmoud is like, he's dead. He's done. His entire day is over. This was a hot day. Right now in Alabama, it's like in the 20s, which sucks. But at this point, it was like, in the 70s, 80s. Actually, I think it was like a high 80s day. So we're sitting out in the sun, pounding these things in, and like, this was it. Like, we did this for 2 hours, and I was done. The day was over. I'm not coming back. I'm not fixing this stuff. We're completed. And that was it. See, like, Mahmoud's like, I'm done. And yeah, it's just, like, we're going at this like a bunch of animals, like, just trying to get it done. Mahmoud is literally giving himself pep talks every time he stops. It was actually pretty funny with Mahmoud. The Mahmoud part was hilarious. It was my favorite part of the day. But anyway, as you can see, this is not straight at all, but doesn't have to be, because no one's paying us to do this. It's my house. I'm just trying to keep people off of it, so I'll make it look as ugly as I want to. Tam thinks it looks absolutely beautiful, and for that, I'm like, we did a pretty good job. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the day. I got my baby inside crying, so I'm going to have to go take care of him. But thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, do all the good stuff. And with that, you already know that we will see you guys in the next video. Be looking out for that series coming up. And I'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.
This is Goodman, back with another...